Good morning. This is Bill from Europa, Naples, and today I have the progeny of a car company started by a gentleman named Henry Rolls and another one named Charles Royce. It's kind of an interesting thing. The two guys couldn't have been more different. Charles Rolls was a sort of landed gentry, son of, the aristocracy. And the other fellow was a bit of a blue-collar son of a miller thing. But, Rolls had gone through college. He attended all the finest schools. He became the founder of an electrical engineering company. Pretty neat guy. And he was introduced to Henry Royce by a friend of his who had come up basically from nothing to, found a car company, building these two-cylinder cars. And the two immediately took to each other and came together. And a legend was born. The name is absolutely synonymous with wealth and luxury and, just sort of a cut above the rest. It always has been and probably always will be. It may not be the most recognizable, car brand in the world, but, if it isn't, it's certainly the most recognizably luxury car brand in the world. This one in particular, this is by the way, what's his name? Rolls, Charles Rolls. First British guy to die in a plane crash. Kind of sucks for him. He was a bit of a pioneer of, aviation daredevilry. In fact, he was adamant that Rolls went on to produce aviation engines, and they did. They built a very famous engine called the Merlin that was used in the Spitfire in World War II. Anyway, I digress. 1996, Rolls Royce Silver Spur. The Spur is the extended wheelbase, the one with the higher appointments, and this was the last of a generation of Rolls Royces that went from 1980 all the way through 1997. And in fact, even 97, they made a few in 8 and 9, just using what they had left. But this is essentially the last, Rolls Royce hand-built sort of non-corporate entity, the way that they, when they were taken over by BMW, they became a little bit different. And this car isn't. This is very much a classic, true Rolls Royce, right down to the original, lineage. So it's a Mark IV. Interestingly, every other generation, the Mark I through III, had the Roman numeral on the back. The 4 did not, because I guess the Roman numeral 4 is very, dreaded in the Middle East. It means death or something. So, of course, a big percentage of sheiks and, that sort of, you know what I mean. Anyway, those guys, they buy these things. So you can't have death on the back of your car. It's, inarguably the best looking of the series. It became aerodynamic with molded bumpers. And look at this. Look at that from driving. Good Lord. Wipe off our rocker panel here, bottom of the bumper. That's the one thing about these cars. They have to be immaculate as you're driving them around. You can't let the side down. You really can't. All right, anyway, that's handled. This one's finished in Arctic white outside. Maybe Oxford white. I'm not sure what they call it. It's absolutely gorgeous. I mean, it is gorgeous. The body panels, the fit and finish, the unmistakable grille that dates back to 1904, big Euro headlights. If you're going to own one of these Silver Spur Dawn versions, this is the one to have. It's also full of German electronics, so it becomes a pretty reliable car. The engines are notoriously bulletproof. The transmissions are GM supplied. They're completely bulletproof. And again, there's a lot of Bosch and other electronics under the hood that come from the German side of things. I'm not sure how Royce and Rolls would feel about that, but it truly is for the better. All right, I'm going to start inside the trunk. I'm going to warn you right now, I got a bunch of crap in here. So what could you do? One thing I don't like about the trunk, to be honest, is it doesn't go up very high. And these, center portions of it come down low. So I have smacked my head on this damn thing, 20 times getting in and out of it. That said, it probably wasn't intended for, the guy who owned it to be doing this. Surely the chauffeur would be putting stuff in and out of there. And if he bangs his head, well, who the hell cares? Anyway, you can see a beautifully finished trunk. I've got some donuts for the guys. I've got my bag of stuff. I've got a jumper box because I was driving a British car. Oh, I'm kidding. I had another use for it. Anyway, lovely carpet, lovely finish. For such a big car, it's not a huge trunk, But again, you know, it isn't your problem. If you need stuff there, it's going to get there, and how it gets there is up to somebody else that you pay. So let's have a look under the hood. Oh, God, to be more than a mere mortal. So I like the reverse opening hood. Very nice stuff. And what a beautiful engine they've been making for decades. This is a 6.75 liter V8. It has Zytec engine management. Again, a very advanced, reliable engine management system. You know, way better than all the Lucas stuff this thing came with in the beginning, and becomes a fairly reliable car. Again, nice and simple under the hood. You know, everything very well maintained on this thing. I bought it from a guy he bought it in 2003 with 20,000 miles on it. Drove it very sparingly to the yacht club and back, and kind of a fancy guy. Put 5,000 miles on it in about 15 years, but, you know, drove it consistently every year, and, you know, maintained it very well. And as a result, it's just beautifully well preserved. So you can see everything lovely, original, proper, as it should be. These finned, you know, aluminum valve covers popping up to signify what it is. Love this engine oil cap. Absolutely the coolest one in the business. And everything just looking good under there. Oh, rotating parts warning. It's like a helicopter. You can see that light works too. That's nice. That also must be German. The way that closes. And of course, here's our incredibly famous Rolls Royce grille, Spirit of Ecstasy, which has been streamlined for aerodynamics in this car. So she's hugging the road a little better than usual, certainly than on the earlier ones. You see it absolutely unmistakable. I mean, when this front end pulls up somewhere, nobody questions what this is. It's like when you hear a ZZ Top song on the radio, you pretty much know it's ZZ Top. They have an unmistakable sound. And, you know, in a very different way, the same thing goes for the front end of these Rolls Royces. So beautiful fit and finish. Again, they use sort of an aerodynamic bumper in this model, which really brought out the design, rounded the straight edges a little bit, and just made it absolutely gorgeous. You see the white walls on it, love it. Beautiful chrome center caps with the Rolls Royce logo. Beautiful chrome mirrors, beautiful chrome framing, beautiful chrome everything. And in just the right amount. Any more than this and it would become gaudy. Any less than this and it wouldn't be a Rolls Royce. So they really did such a lovely job with the appointments on this car. Every one of these things, hand built. Every one. Some crazy guys there putting them together. All right, let's have a look in the back seat. Now again, this is the long wheelbase version, this Dawn, so you get some nice extra appointments. For one thing, you can see the most rich, beautiful leather on the planet is put inside of these cars. Absolutely gorgeous. The smell is incredible. The fit and finish of the door panel, unparalleled. Again, with all the hand-stitched leather, the deep, rich wood, all from the same tree. They probably took down half a Brazilian rainforest for this car, and they definitely killed an entire family of sheep for the floor mats. You can see it's got great carpet underneath, but these fantastic floor mats on top. Still has the footrests. This one does have the picnic tables, again, being a Spur and not a Dawn. Look at that. So you got I'm not going to say anything about Grey Poupon. Jesus. Anyway, you want to have a sandwich back there, set a laptop on something, you know, bark at the chauffeur to drive faster, you can. Also still has the factory remote for the stereo. Beautiful, incredible wood everywhere. You go up here, you've got this sort of, you know, these things have been on Rolls's forever. These little mirror sections with the pointed spotlights and you know, the fit and finish is just beyond description. And it's why this car was, you know, pretty close to 200 grand new back in 1996. That is a shocking amount of money. Oh, should mention these rear seats do recline. How the hell does that happen? Damn it, I know it happened somehow, so let's see. Oh yeah, we got switches here. There you go, look at that. So you want to put it down and recline, you can. Take a nap, let someone else do the driving. You're in good shape. Pretty cool stuff. the way that door closes. There's nothing else like it, not even a big S-Class. Okay, up front, you can see the exact same treatment, the beautiful leather hides with the white piping, beige and white, looks terrific. Nice colors on this car. They've wrapped expensive, incredible leather around every detail. Again, even just the fit and finish of this map pocket with the finished stainless screws inside, the incredible chrome accoutrements. It's just absolutely lovely. This one has a little seatbelt patina on the door, kind of a shame. He should have been more careful than that getting in and out of it, but yeah, what are you going to do? Could have been the first or the second guy. I'm going to zoom in on this so you can see that for a second. That is the build plate of the car. Very, very nice stuff. Each one of these, again, totally handmade and, you know, beautifully crafted. All right, we got a bunch of keys for this, too. Let's fire this thing up. I just love the way that sounds. All right, so the steering wheel has a nice, easy access feature. You can see no warning lights come on when you fire it up. This thing's been beautifully maintained. Let me get a little AC going. Do that here. And if we're on low, there's low. And we're fogging up nicely. Okay, anyway, you can see this beautiful leather dashboard, fantastically finished, just absolutely lovely. Incredible wood on the dashboard. It's trimmed, it's rich, it's just fantastic. These are the kind of features that make this car cost 176 grand back then. You know, all of this is metal, and it's, you know, sort of hand finished. The knobs are hand knurled. You know, it's the kind of stuff that goes above and beyond the norm. Ditto the glass gauges, probably crystal actually. You know, all that stuff is plastic on almost every car. On this, it's glass. It's all glass. Even over these little guys here, you know, the controls are so unmistakably Rolls Royce. There really is nothing else like them. It's got a tilt steering column here. These guys you pull in and push out to turn the vents on and off. You got an outside temp, you got an analog clock, and then these great little panels. You know, thank God that they didn't try Lexus's idea of pushing a button and having them open, because they sure as hell wouldn't work now. But they are just a very nice manual touch. That went a little harder than I wanted. Look at the ashtray in this thing with the Rolls Royce button to open it. It's just amazing. I'm sure this is an Alpine rebadged, you know, for the Rolls Royce factory. Try to sunscreen a little bit there. We're getting glare. But it sounds great. Good speaker system. And, you know, just let's see what we got this morning, actually. That's right, I'm on NPR, so that's not going to be good news. We'll just turn that right off. All right, in the glove box, you got the demonstration cassettes, you got the books, another row of controls for the boot, the alarm, the clock, panel dim, and of course, we'll just close that up. Shockingly, that's all covered in leather. On this Mark IV, it gives you this whole new wood thing here that the earlier ones didn't used to have, the continued center console. So down here you've got your, these are just your map light things. Turn those on to get lights. Here's your seat controls. They look suspiciously BMW, but anyway, there they are. And the memory features, the heaters, off, thank God. We don't want heated seats this morning. In here you've got a cell phone that Sonny Crockett would have loved. I mean, that's absolutely fantastic. There's also one in the center of the rear console, and you got your 6-disc changer for the factory radio. Sitting behind the wheel, looking down the hood, you know, again, you know, I talk about the S-Class being, you know, the car for the chairman of the board. You know, this is the guy the chairman of the board answers to. I mean, it is absolutely unlike any other car in the way that you feel motoring it down the road. It just makes you feel so bloody elegant and old money. You know, even if, you know, like Mr. Royce, you came from a pretty crappy background. The shifter is hilarious. It's been the same on these things for years. I'm sure it got different in the new ones, but it's just such a light touch, move up and down. You actually have to be careful with it. It's so light. And anyway, pretty neat stuff. It's all about effortless driving. Get a nice deep-throated growl from that V8, but very, very in the background. You just barely can make it out. And away we go. So, you know, this thing is more about wafting and gliding than it is about, you know, being nimble. Although truly it is a bit nimble. So, you know, if you're some sort of, you know, tin pot dictator somewhere and your Air Force comes after you, your chauffeur can drive it a little bit sporty. You know, he'll be able to outrun some of the, you know, chase vehicles. Maybe not the helicopters, but, you know, you get a good run of it. Otherwise, when you're motoring down to Harrods or going to, you know, the Ritz-Carlton, you're doing so in incredible, gentle, lofty, lovely style. The car just floats down the road with that active hydraulic suspension. It's got big brakes that pull it down to a stop pretty easily. Plenty of pep. Let's do that. We're not catching the right gear. Doesn't matter. You wouldn't do it anyway. What would be the point of driving this thing aggressively? It's not at all the point of this car. So it's just an incredible machine made for, you know, pretty special people that, thank God, some of them are now getting to the price point where us mere mortals can afford them. And there it is. So, you know, for less than the cost of a new E-Class, you can pull up somewhere and, you know, really knock people's socks off. This, again, 1996 Rolls Royce Silver Spur Mark IV, last of the Mohicans as far as this generation goes, and certainly the best. All German electronics, pretty reliable car. You know, a home maintenance guy, there's a lot he can do. Some stuff he can't, but there's a lot he can. So, you know, a guy with a little bit of ingenuity and, you know, a little bit of luck can keep this thing going in real nice shape for not too much money. And man, let me tell you, when you pull up somewhere, they know you have arrived. So there it is, 96 Silver Spur. Really appreciate you having a look today. There you go, 25,000 on the clock. This thing's a champion. Come get it. All original. Sweetheart of a car. 239-649-7300. I mean, would you believe it? Our idiot lot boy calls me in the last 5 seconds of the video and knocks out the filming. They're under strict orders never to call me before I get in, and they do anyway. Idiots. Anyway, 239-649-7300 on the web at mercedesexpert.com. I'm going to let the spirit of ecstasy guide me to work and try to keep my nerves about me, and we'll see you with the next one. Take care.